Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always up for exploring something new.
Well, today we're doing something a little different. We're going to be looking at lyrics, specifically from a music video.
Oh, interesting. Which one?
Dangerous, by Nigy and DJ Mac. It's a pretty wild ride, and the language in the transcript is, well, let's just say it's not your typical everyday conversation.
Definitely curious to see what we can unpack there.
Exactly. So our mission today is to see how the language in this music video, even the parts that might seem kind of nonsensical, works to create a specific mood and convey a message. You know, how words can be used almost like musical instruments.
Yeah, like how they can play with rhythm and sound and create a certain feeling.
Exactly. So one of the first things that jumped out at me was the line, "You could do some damage with the bum way you got." Catchy, right?
Oh yeah, definitely catchy. And a little provocative, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What do you think they're going for with that line?
I think they're playing with double meanings there. You know, a little wink wink nudge nudge to the listener.
Oh yeah, like a double entendre.
Exactly. It adds a layer of playfulness to the song, you know? Makes you think a little bit, but also just feel the vibe.
That makes sense. It's definitely got that kind of flirty, suggestive tone.
Yeah, and it's kind of reminiscent of the wordplay you often find in blues or hip-hop. It's about that clever use of language, bending words to create multiple meanings.
Definitely. And then there's the phrase, "make it collapse," which they repeat several times. What do you make of that?
I think it could be a few things. It could be talking about that intense bass drop that makes you feel like everything's gonna like cave in around you. You know that feeling?
Oh yeah, totally. Like the music is a physical force.
Exactly. And then repeating it just emphasizes that feeling, builds the anticipation, and then delivers on that sonic punch.
Yeah, it's like they're building the sonic roller coaster.
Yeah, and that's common in electronic music. They create these peaks and valleys of intensity that keep you hooked. It's pretty clever when you think about it.
Totally. Okay, now there are a few other phrases that feel a bit more abstract, like tambourine, trampoline, and clock. What do you think those words are doing in the mix?
Well, I think they're adding a different kind of texture to the song. It's not just about the meaning of the words themselves, but the feeling they evoke. Like when you hear tambourine and trampoline, you immediately think of bouncing, right? Rhythmic movement.
Yeah, that's true. It's like they're painting a picture with sound.
Exactly. And the clock. Well, that could be about time passing, maybe even the fleeting nature of pleasure, how intense moments don't last forever. It adds a little bit of depth to the song's themes.
That's really interesting. I hadn't considered that. So it's like these seemingly random words actually work together to create a more complex meaning.
Precisely. It's like they're piecing together a puzzle using both direct and indirect language to draw you into their world.
I like that, a puzzle. It definitely makes you want to keep listening to try and figure it all out.
Absolutely. And that's part of the fun of music, isn't it? The way it can engage different parts of your brain, making you think and feel at the same time.
Totally. Okay, now for the really out there stuff. We've got phrases like itb, spid, and cle. Any thoughts on those? Are they just filler words?
Well, they might not have a clear literal meaning, but they definitely have a purpose. They contribute to the overall feel and rhythm of the song. You could almost think of them as sound effects.
Like vocal ad-libs.
Yeah, exactly. It's like adding another instrument to the mix, creating a richer soundscape.
So it's about how those sounds make you feel more than what they actually mean.
Exactly. It's about creating a mood, a vibe, a sonic landscape that the listener can get lost in.
That's fascinating. So taking a step back, what do you think the overall message of this song is? Like, what's the artist trying to say?
To me, it feels like it's about letting go, losing yourself in the music and the physical sensations it creates. It's about that moment where you're so caught up in something bigger than yourself, you know, like surrendering to the rhythm.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. It's like that feeling of being completely swept away by the music.
Exactly. And the language they use, even the parts that seem a little strange, all contribute to creating that feeling.
So what's the takeaway for our listeners today? What should they be paying attention to when they listen to their favorite songs?
Don't just focus on the words themselves, you know? Pay attention to how those words are used, how they sound, how they make you feel. Even the parts that don't make sense right away might have a purpose.
Yeah, like there might be hidden layers of meaning waiting to be discovered. It's like a treasure hunt.
Exactly. And that's what makes music so endlessly fascinating. There's always something new to uncover, something to make you think and feel. So next time you're listening to your favorite song, really listen. You might be surprised at what you find.
Great advice. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
My pleasure. Always a good time.
See you next time.
He carried down, ticking, tacking like the hands of a clock, oh yeah. And really define natural last. You know see how she a wine and a walk, oh.